The Dallas Cowboys drafted DeMarvion Overshown in the 2023 NFL Draft, and the guy showed a ton of upside early on, but unfortunately he ended up tearing his ACL last year. But he is back, and he did play in 11 snaps against the Los Angeles Rams. And there were definitely some ups and downs in that game, but he definitely had a couple of nice plays, and we're going to talk about those plays that he had. I'm very excited for it. This is the first of the 11 snaps, and keep in mind we'll look at all 11 of the snaps. On this first one here, you see that it's duo by the Los Angeles Rams, and he does a good job getting around the block. One of the things with these dual runs is that, when the double team happens here between the guard and tackle, if Overshown goes over the top, it's the guard that's going to release to him. If he ends up coming underneath it, it's the tackle that's going to release to him. So notice how Overshown's going to first go over the top, and then he's going to come back underneath it. So although the guard releases initially, when he comes back underneath it, it's a tackle that releases. Now, to me, not a huge deal in terms of him actually making the play, but I do like the fact that DeMarvion Overshown is showing that he understands certain concepts or certain things. And it's also important to recognize that Overshown did not play his rookie year. So what that means is there's going to be a lot of plays on tape where he ends up trying to do certain things and it doesn't work. Because in college, he might have done those things and it did work. But in the NFL, it might not. And this is a great example of that. This was the second play that he was in. This is 2nd and 7. Overshown obviously ends up blitzing. He might run through guys when he was at Texas, but in the NFL, he's not going to be able to run through guys. He might run through some guys, but other guys will be able to kind of shut you down. In this instance, number 30 does a great job being able to take on Overshown. Overshown's not able to run through it. And again, this is a learning rep, right? So these are the things that he'll have to come in and actually experience. He'll have to lose these snaps, and then he'll be able to adjust and get better as he goes forward. One of the things that Cowboys are going to have to recognize this year is that Overshown is essentially a rookie. He's essentially in his very first year in the NFL. You see him do a really good job here. Now, before we move forward, I want to tell you guys all about Underdog Fantasy. It is the easiest place to play fantasy sports, and it makes watching some of these other games super interesting. All you do is pick higher or lower on your favorite player's stats, and you can either 10x, 100x, maybe even 1000x your money, depending on the multiplier. And let's talk about my personal picks for the first week of the season. So right away, Underdog's going to give you one free pick. This week, it's going to be Travis Kelce. Essentially, all he needs to do is just have at least 1 yard, essentially any catch, which he's definitely going to do. So you get a free pick by Underdog. Let's look at some of these other picks. Let's talk about some of the picks from the Raiders game, because I think there's definitely some interesting potential picks. Davante Adams has not practiced at all in training camp. To me, I'm going to take the higher on the potential for Davante Adams to have a receiving touchdown. I find it hard to believe that Davante won't have at least one catching touchdown. And, which one of the cool things with Underdog is if I just did the one Davante Adams pick, as well as the Travis Kelce free pick, essentially, a $5 bet, $21, it's not bad. But we're going to multiply this. We're going to add a couple more picks. So one of the things I always do is look at quarterbacks. And to me, Jared Goff to have at least one rushing yard it's kind of crazy to think, but I'm going to take the higher on it. Now, it's not guaranteed that Goff's going to have one rushing yard, but, all he needs is one rushing yard. He just has to run the ball one time. So I'm going to go ahead and take that one right there. I'm going to make one more pick. This one's going to come from the Ravens-Chiefs game. It's interesting. I'm not sure if it'll happen, but 2 catches for Derrick Henry. Will Derrick Henry have 2 catches? I'm going to say he will have 2 catches. To me, I find it hard to believe that the Baltimore Ravens, keep in mind Derrick Henry, brand new scheming system, I find it hard to believe they're not going to throw him at least 1 or 2 screen passes. I find that hard to believe. If he has at least 1 screen pass, I think we'll have at least one other play in which the quarterback will probably just throw him the ball on some sort of check down. So we'll take that one as well. $5, 4 picks, $80 payoff. Let's make this one happen. If you guys are interested in making your own picks or following my picks, make sure you guys use the link down in the comments below. And only ever use money that you're willing to lose. Let's get right back into the video. You see him do a really good job here. Ends up blowing the play up. Just a beautiful job to be able to recognize kind of what's happening up front. You do see with the guys up front, they are both going to slant towards the inside. So I'm not sure if this is some sort of a run stunt that gets designed or if Overshown just ends up being able to kind of get in there the way he does, but it doesn't look like the defense ends really setting the edge, but it does look like he's trying to squeeze down the gap, which allows Overshown to essentially go free. So that's a good job. And Overshown obviously is able to get into the running back, stop him for about 1.5 yards. So really, really good job right there. Let's go ahead and get into the next snap. Now, for the purposes of this video, we'll go ahead and just watch all of the snaps. This one, really nothing to it. You'll see that he's going to be the backside linebacker on this rollout, which then takes us to the 5th play that this guy was in the game. You got a 3rd and 4, and he's going to step up. He's going to try to fill the gap, but he's not going to be able to get off the block. And on 3rd and 4, the Rams are going to end up picking up 3 yards. This is a pretty good job for Overshown to come downhill. Again, this will be one of those things where this guy will have to learn a little bit. These are those things that he'll have to recognize. You know, the fact that number 71 and 60, the right guard, right tackle, block down, there's 2 possible things. Either this is a zone run towards the left of the screen here, or these 2 guys are blocking down, which means there's a 3rd guy that's possibly going to come down and block you, or a guy might pull around and come and climb and get to you as well. So these are the little things that this guy's going to have to learn and really just adjust his game to, right? Being able to actually see all these different things happen. And it's one thing going full speed when it's Cowboys offense versus Cowboys defense, the way the Dallas Cowboys do in camp. It's a completely different thing actually seeing a different team run these plays. Not a huge deal, right? These are the learning reps for DeMarvion Overshown. He'll have to recognize when guys are coming at him. He'll have to learn how he's going to get past these blocks. Either he's going to jump this using the power, the quickness, and just try to go through it, or he'll take number 87 on, and as he takes him on, he'll push him backwards, and he'll make sure that the running back's not able to hit this the way he ultimately does on this one. Not a huge deal. Let's get into the next snap. On this next one here, it's a 4th and 1. The quarterback's going to end up keeping the football. He's going to take off running. Overshown not involved in this play. Then you got another one here. 1st and 10. Overshown's going to step downhill. And this one's interesting because you essentially have 2 guys in the same gap. You're going to see that the defensive end on this one is going to lock out. Keep an eye here. Watch him lock out with number 61. That lockout to me tells me this defensive lineman has the outside containment, which tells me Overshown needs to shoot this gap here. He needs to get in here. He needs to make the tackle on the running back. Of course, he also has to make sure the running back actually gets the football before attacking. But it almost looks to me like Overshown takes the outside angle as well. Right? It almost looks like he goes too far towards the outside. Again, not 100% sure what happens on that one. Not a big deal. A 4-yard gain. It's just the little things that this guy's going to have to continue to work on. And then after a false start, you got a 2nd and 11. And you're going to get Overshown to actually blitz on this play. And the quarterback gets the ball out, so he's really not going to do anything. And then you'll also see that, I believe it's a safety that misses the tackle. And on this one, you're going to pick up 30 yards. Just a little bit of a better job from the defensive side. And you essentially got 3 plays left, and we'll also analyze these 3 plays. That's an okay job, you know, initially at least. You see Overshown, he's going to come downhill. He's going to try to lock out right there with the offensive lineman. But this is some sort of dual concept towards the left. And that means that the guard knows that Overshown's not going to make the play unless Overshown comes over the top. And the guard also kind of mirrors Overshown pretty well. So you got to do a little bit of a better job, right? Initially, not a bad job being able to kind of create that space. But you got to get off the block. It's just a little bit more improvement needed from Overshown. And then you got a 2nd and 7. And on this one here, Overshown's going to do a pretty good job. Right? He's going to at least be able to kind of shut this down from the running back being able to kind of get towards the outside. Ideally, would like for him to stay on his feet. The running back does end up going underneath this. But I think Overshown got pretty good depth on this as well. You guys can see him right there. And he makes sure the running back is not going to be able to get to the outside on this. Pretty nice job being able to take the offensive lineman on. And of course, this play really only just picks up a yard. And then finally, it's the last play that Overshown's going to play in preseason. And he actually does a pretty good job on this one. 3rd and 8. And he's going to do a pretty good job sticking close to the tight end. The ball is well overthrown. And you actually even see Overshown's going to end up setting to the inside. Underneath the tight end on this one. And as he sets underneath the tight end, you know, if this pass is a little bit further to the inside, keep in mind, it's super high, right? There's no way the tight end was going to make the catch on this. If it was thrown underneath, Overshown would have possibly picked it. So it's actually a pretty good job by Overshown to be able to get underneath it. You know, watching this guy's tape and watching how he's kind of running out there and how he's moving, you know, you can tell Overshown's definitely come back from some sort of knee injury, right? You could definitely tell with this guy, he's not as fast and as explosive as he was last year. And I think that's kind of expected. I think there's a couple of positions that you really do get impacted if you tear your ACL. And I think linebacker is one of those positions. Not saying he can't get back to full speed, but I think it's more so like it's going to take 1.5 to 2 years until he gets fully, healthy. But I do think that that's actually a good thing for Overshown because, he might be a little limited this year, but he'll still be able to play and he'll still get to learn and he'll still be able to process and develop. He'll have losing snaps. And then I think as he kind of comes back into year 3, which is really his second full season, I think he'll be a good linebacker. Obviously, there's traits, there's upside. We'll see how it goes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. There wasn't a whole lot to break down, but I did want to look at his preseason tape, and I did want to make a video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We will be covering the Dallas Cowboys on this channel, so if you guys are not subscribed, make sure you guys do subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time with another video.